You sit down after a long day. You haven't even settled into the cushion yet, and there it is, a warm tongue on the back of your hand, then your wrist. Then, if you let your guard down, your chin. You laugh and say, okay, I missed you too. We call them kisses, doggy kisses. And we leave it there like the whole thing is obvious. But it isn't obvious at all. Because a lick is one of the most layered messages your dog has, a single gesture that can mean love or surrender or hunger or please don't be angry with me. Or, I need help. It carries information that goes all the way back to a wolf den. Today I want to show you everything a lick is actually saying, including the one version of it you should never ignore. Let's start with the easy answer. It's a kiss. It means he loves you. Sweet. Here's the problem. Dogs also lick when they're terrified. They lick to calm themselves down. They lick the air. They lick the floor. They lick their own legs until the fur wears away. If a lick were simply, I love you, it wouldn't show up in fear, in stress, and in illness too. So it can't be one thing. It's more like a word with many meanings. To read it properly, we have to go back to where the behavior was born. Picture a wolf den. A mother returns from the hunt, and her pups rush to her, licking frantically at the corners of her mouth. This isn't affection, it's a request. That licking actually triggers the adult to regurgitate partially digested food for the pups to eat. Ethologists have documented this for decades. Face licking is, at its origin, a care-soliciting behavior. Feed me. Take care of me. And there's a second layer. Lower-ranking members lick the muzzles of higher-ranking ones as a gesture of appeasement and respect. Your dog is a wolf that never fully grew up. Domestication kept these puppy behaviors alive into adulthood. So at its deepest root, when your dog licks you, he's saying two ancient things at once. Care for me, and I trust you completely. But there's something else happening on the tip of that tongue, and it's almost like a superpower. Dogs have a specialized structure on the roof of the mouth, the vomeronasal organ, that reads chemical signals. When your dog licks your skin, he isn't only tasting the salt of your sweat. He's reading your day, where you've been, what you ate. He's catching up on everything that happened to you while you were apart, written in a language of scent and taste. Now that affection layer, it's real and we can measure it. Researchers at Azabu University in Japan looked at oxytocin. They found that affectionate behaviors like licking are tied to a rise in oxytocin in the dog, and it rises in you too. When your dog licks you and you melt a little, both your brains are dipping into the same chemical bath that bonds parents to children. There's also a version of licking aimed squarely at your feelings. Dogs will approach and nuzzle a crying person far more than a calm one. He can't say, it's going to be okay, so he licks. It's the most direct way he knows to reach across the gap between two species. But here's a layer almost nobody talks about. Sometimes the lick isn't about you at all. It activates the brain's opioid system. Licking is a genuine self-soothing behavior, the canine version of a nervous person fidgeting, doodling, or biting their nails. When a dog feels anxious, the simple repetitive motion of licking floods his brain with calm. It's him regulating his own nervous system. Which means that some of the licking you receive is your dog using your skin as the anchor that helps him feel okay. Next time you feel that warm, wet tongue, remember, it's not just a kiss. It's an ancient, biological conversation. And then there's the layer you might be just a little responsible for. Dogs are brilliant readers of cause and effect. The very first time your dog licked you and you laughed, talked back, or reached down to pet him, his brain filed away a powerful lesson. Licking makes good things happen. Every reaction since, even pushing him away, even a machinoid ooh stop, has registered as attention. And attention was exactly the point. So some of that enthusiastic licking is simply a behavior you accidentally trained into him. It is a request that has worked on you 1,000 times. That doesn't make it any less sincere. It just means the conversation runs both ways. He learned your language of affection as surely as you've been learning his. And that brings us to the twist most owners get completely wrong. That frantic, can't stop face licking when you walk through the door, we read it as pure, overflowing joy. And often it is, but not always. When that licking comes with a lowered body, flattened ears, a tucked tail, or a quick darting whale eye, it isn't simple happiness. It's appeasement and over-arousal. Your dog is managing a flood of big feelings and checking that you're not upset with him. The exact same gesture can mean, I adore you, or please don't be angry. So how do you tell them apart? You stop reading the tongue and you read the whole body. A loose, wiggly dog with soft eyes giving you easy licks is pure affection. A stiff, tense dog licking frantically and unable to stop is telling you something very different. The lick is just one word, the body is the sentence. And yet, when you strip all of it back, the Wolf Den, the chemistry, the information, the self-soothing, the most common reason your dog licks you is also the oldest and the simplest one. Licking was the very first thing he ever did as a blind, helpless newborn, to the very first being who ever loved him, his mother. Before he could see, before he could walk, licking was how he said, "I'm here, I'm yours, take care of me." So when your dog crosses a room and licks your hand for no reason at all, understand what's really happening. He is using the first language he ever learned, the language he once aimed at his mother, and he is aiming it at you. He has put you in the place she once held. In his world, there may be no higher compliment than that. And there's one last thing I need you to know, and it might be the most important part of this video. Because licking can be self-soothing, it can also be a cry for help, and learning to hear that could protect your dog. When licking turns excessive or compulsive, listen to it. A dog who licks one spot on his own body raw is almost always in pain. It could be itchy from allergies or dealing with something that hurts. A dog who suddenly obsessively licks floors, walls, or surfaces can be signaling nausea or a real medical problem, and that one deserves a trip to the vet, not a correction. And licking that's wrapped in a tense, shut down, fearful body is stress, not affection. Punishing it only adds fear on top of fear. The real fix is finding what's frightening him and removing it. Your dog cannot tell you in words that he's hurting or anxious or unwell. So he tells you the only way he can, and sometimes the message is hidden inside the very gesture you thought was just a kiss. So the next time you sit down and feel that warm tongue find your hand before you've even settled, take 1 second to look at the rest of him. The loose, wiggly body, the soft eyes, the tail going like a metronome. And you'll know exactly which message you're getting. Most of the time, it's the same one that traveled all the way from that wolf den, through 15,000 years, straight to your living room couch. You're mine, I trust you, and I'm so glad you're home. If this changed the way you see your dog, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments. Does your dog lick you the second you sit down? I read every single one. And if you've ever caught your dog tilting its head to the side when you talk to it, and wondered what's actually going through their mind in that moment, that's the next video. And the real answer is more touching than you'd expect.